Good morning. Calling to order the Board of Health meeting for the town of Shrewsbury. Today, September 24th. Minutes of the last meeting were distributed electronically. If there are no amendments, I'll entertain a motion to accept them as written.
Yep, I'll make a motion to accept.
Thank you. Second.
I'll second that motion.
Great. All in favor, Ms. Rosacci?
Aye.
Ms. Walker?
Votes aye.
Abraham votes aye. The meeting minutes are unanimously approved. Our next agenda item is to discuss possible amendments to the Board of Health public comment policy. Ms. Garcia, did you want to make some comments?
Sure, definitely. So this was brought to my attention when I started, both that this was a new policy for the board and mirrored very closely the select board policy. We had some comments from the public on possible ways to make it more accessible. So taking those into account, I made some really minor changes and suggested that possibly we'd want to provide public comment period during each regularly scheduled Board of Health meeting to really ensure that the most number of residents can access public comment and share their thoughts on various health topics that are important to the residents of Shrewsbury. So those are the primary changes within this, just specifying that public comment could be available at each meeting.
Great. Questions from either of the board members?
I don't have any questions.
All right. If no questions, motion to accept the amended policy as presented.
I'll make a motion to accept.
Great. Second.
Second that motion.
All right. All in favor, Ms. Rosacci?
Aye.
Ms. Walker?
Votes aye.
Abraham votes aye. Will accept the amended policy as presented. Thank you, Ms. Garcia.
Thank you.
All right. We will discuss the citizen petition regarding fluoridation of Shrewsbury's public drinking water. Ms. Garcia?
Yes, definitely. So on Monday, Kevin Mizikar said that a citizen's petition had been submitted to request the select board to petition the general court to enact special legislation which would allow residents of Shrewsbury to vote on the 2026 annual town election ballot whether or not to continue fluoridating the public water supply. So this is really just to bring it to the board's attention that this citizen petition went through. There will be a couple opportunities upcoming that the health department and the board can make comments on their stance on this citizens petition. So it'll be before the Finance Committee on October 9th and then special town meeting on October 22nd. So I really wanted to just raise it in this meeting so you all are aware that this has been submitted and is going forward, and then offer an opportunity if you wanted to discuss any possible actions the Board of Health would like to take or you'd like the health department to see.
Okay. Questions from the board?
No, I don't have any questions.
No questions.
And we can potentially discuss at our next Board of Health meeting.
Yep, yeah, absolutely.
Very good. Thank you. And you have the floor. So any director updates that you'd like to bring up?
Yeah, perfect. So we have officially hired a second inspector that's going to be joining our team October 6th. His name is Michael Sager. He comes from the Greater Boroughs Public Health Collaborative, so he's been working with various communities out Northborough, Westborough area, has about 4 years of experience with inspections, so we're really excited to get him up and running to help, enhance our inspectional capacity and make sure we're meeting all of those requirements. On the Public Health Excellence Grant, we're starting to work on our intermunicipal agreement. So that's currently going through legal counsel review with all of our communities, and once they approve and town administration approves, we'll be bringing it to the Board of Health to review, provide comment, and then see if you want to accept that. And that really sets up our governance structure for the Public Health Excellence Grant. So that's coming up soon. We're kind of moving through a pretty good pace to get all of that in place and really bolster our health department. So those are the big updates for us.
Great. Wonderful. Excited about the progress and look forward to even more into reviewing the grant details once you have them here. Updates from the public health nurse?
Yeah, so I'll take that. Bridget, our public health nurse, was asked to support a vaccination clinic in West Boylston this morning, so that's why she can't join us. But she did provide some general information on some different health topics she's been keeping an eye on. So she's been watching flu and COVID numbers. They're slowly starting to trickle in, but really nothing that you wouldn't expect this time of year to see. So she's developed some health education that we're going to begin putting out about best practices for preventing seasonal illness. And then she has been keeping an eye on the measles outbreak. So Texas has officially declared that that outbreak is over, but we are starting to see increased numbers of measles cases in Canada. So she is keeping a close eye on that and seeing if there's any effects here in the United States from that. And, you know, always keeping an eye on that. So those are the big updates that she has.
Great, thank you. I think still COVID not being reportable requirement, so we may be under-reporting our numbers
Yeah.
just by virtue of the fact that.
Absolutely, and with home tests and everything, like those are not reported, so we're really only seeing anything that's tested through a lab. She still does get those notifications, but you're probably underreporting, yeah.
You're right. Great, and the environmental health update?
Yeah, that's me. So, pretty routine month, about 40 food inspections, nothing very noteworthy as far as violations go, anything like that. A couple nuisance complaints, and a couple housing. I handled one and that handled the other, so nothing really came of either of them, I think, so.
So no particular concerning trends or anything
Nope.
then? Great, thank you for the work you're doing. Any questions from the board to Ms. Garcia? Or?
No, I have no questions.
Excellent.
Are there still any vacancies for positions?
So nope, that was our last
Great.
vacancy for positions that we currently have. We are discussing at our next collaborative meeting on if we want to look at any additional positions. So we do still have some funds available that could support additional positions. So thinking, do we want to bring an epidemiologist in? Do we want to see an outreach worker or program coordinator to help support other community initiatives? So no posted vacancies, but the possibility still to expand to some additional positions.
Thank you.
All right, so pursuant to the public comment period, and we have, I think, 3 people who have requested to be heard today. We'll start with Ms. Naomi Halpert. You have,
Hi there,
good morning.
Naomi Halpern, 131 Stony Hill Road.
Great, we have 3 minutes, Ms. Halpern, please
Yeah.
go ahead.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm here today to discuss public health policy. I'd like to begin with the mission of the Shrewsbury Board of Health, to promote general health of the community, the wellness in the individual, and to inspire conditions by which people can remain healthy. This is a very noble mission, but I have to ask, how does the board truly inspire health today? Unfortunately, health has become deeply politicized. Recently, the town issued a press release from the Healy administration's collaborative in advance of the ACIT meeting. This collaborative claimed authority to make sweeping recommendations, but offered little scientific detail, relying instead on broad divisive slogans and fear. Public health should not be about political theater. It should be about open dialogue, transparency, and evidence. One recommendation I found most disturbing is for children as young as 6 months and even pregnant women to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. The evidence base for safety in these most vulnerable populations is extremely limited, and long-term safety data is not yet known. The reality is that children are at extremely low risk for severe COVID outcomes. I also want to point out that the number of recommended childhood vaccines has skyrocketed from about 22 in 1986 to more than 80 today, after a law was passed that shields vaccine makers from liability for vaccine injury. Why would vaccine manufacturers need a law to protect them if vaccines are so safe and effective? I know that this board is not responsible for creating these policies, but it's time to take a step back and take a second look and question them. If we're serious about improving health, why is the board so narrowly focused on infectious disease? Chronic conditions have been skyrocketing. Learning disabilities have risen dramatically in the past few decades, and autoimmune diseases affect nearly 1 in 20 Americans. Shouldn't we be asking harder questions about the onslaught of environmental exposures, factors that science increasingly link to chronic illness? Instead, our public health model often asks us to inject, ingest, or inhale substances that carry known risks, whether that's vaccines with chemical additives, water fluoridation, wireless radiation, or mosquito pesticide spraying in our neighborhoods. While regulators deem these exposures safe at low doses, many residents remain very concerned about their cumulative effects. Shouldn't part of our mission be to reduce toxic burdens wherever possible? True public health should look at the whole picture, reducing toxic exposures, strengthening natural immunity, supporting clean food, water, air, and empowering families with informed choices. If the board focused as much on prevention of chronic disease as it does on controlling viruses, we would make far greater progress towards genuine community wellness. I urge the board to return to its mission, not one-size-fits-all mandates, but policies that address root causes of illness and inspire conditions by which people can remain healthy. I leave you with this. If our mission is improving community health, how can we justify policies that favor narrow disease metrics over addressing the epidemic of chronic illness, reducing toxins, and empowering informed choice? Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I just want to submit this for a review. This is what I just. Oh, I'm sorry, I only made 3.
That's okay.
Thank you.
One of them is a vaccinated, unvaccinated study, and it was 24 pages, so I have limited ink. I apologize.
Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Ms. Julie Bourras.
She's not here yet.
She's not here yet. All right, we will. Okay, we will go on to the next speaker, and we'll see if Ms. Bourras arrives. Ms. Catherine Rajwani. Good morning.
Good morning. Hi.
You have 3 minutes, Ms. Rajwani. Please make yourself comfortable.
Okay, thank you. Actually, what I wanted to talk about was the citizens petition concerning fluoride. And I know at the beginning of the meeting it was brought up. And I believe that you'll be addressing it at some later time, perhaps. I'm not sure if that might be in a meeting. So I don't know if now is the appropriate time. My son actually brought the petition. It stemmed from a civics project that he had earlier this year. And he would be here today, but he's a senior in high school and he's unable to attend. So I don't think 3 minutes really would be adequate. I had sent over to the board, there was a Congressional Research Services report on the development of federal recommendations and regulations for fluoride in drinking water. So, there are certain aspects of that we wanted to highlight. We wanted also to talk about some of the recent developments going on with the EPA under the Safe Drinking Water Act, as well as the recent lawsuit, as well as the HHS's recent pronouncements concerning directing the CDC to no longer recommend community water fluoridation. So there's a number of things here to go over, and I believe if you'll be issuing some type of I'm not sure what you'll be issuing or how you'll be issuing it or when you'll be issuing it. But I'm not sure that this might, as I said, 3 minutes probably, not enough time to sort of substantively get into the history, how the EPA really hasn't revisited its guidance on the health risks associated with fluoride in almost 40 years. So there's some things that I wanted to walk through in that report and go through with you all to highlight. Also talk a little bit about Shrewsbury, where we've been. So how's the best way to, whether it's myself doing it or my son, how's the best way to relay that information to the board prior to the board's issuing whatever recommendations it may or may not do to whatever entity, it may or may not, I don't know if it might be in a hearing, I don't know if it'd be at town meeting. So how can I help to inform you?
Well, like you've done in writing, it would be perfectly appropriate for you to submit any written materials that you'd like us to review in advance of any meeting.
Okay, so I submitted a
we got that.
45-page report,
We got
but
that.
this
Thank you.
doesn't really get to sort of what we want to talk about. So I guess, are you saying that you don't want to hear from the citizens about the petition? Like there would be no opportunity, because I know in the past there has been opportunities for citizens to present to the board and to talk with them about a petition. But are you saying that's no longer available?
Oh, no, you have your 3 minutes. That's where we give you that. So
Sure,
if you
3
want to.
minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes isn't really enough to kind
So
of even.
you can supplement that with written materials, so that way you can abbreviate to use the 3 minutes to what you want to highlight, and then the rest you can submit as written material.
Okay, so so in the past, like when people have come and presented on citizens petitions and had, let's say, I don't know, 10 minutes or 15 minutes to really kind of go through a few things, that's no longer available. There's no public comment to the Board of Health any longer?
We do, we just.
Other than
What you're,
3
what you're doing now is the public comment.
Oh, okay,
So-
3 minutes. Okay, well, I can't, like I said, it's a 45-page report. I have comments. There are things that I had wanted to share, things that my son would like to share. We think it's very important, but, I mean, I think my 3 minutes are probably up, just sort of trying to understand. So,
Next meeting?
Are you
Ne-
at least able to explain how the board will provide comments either to town meeting or to, either to town meeting or to, I don't know, the finance committee or perhaps the select board?
So at our next meeting, in consultation with our director, we will come up with what sort of a recommendation. If the town wants us to make a recommendation to the town meeting, then we will discuss that at our next board meeting.
And when will that be, your next board meeting?
That is coming up in the agenda. We will have a date and we will publish it.
Okay, and that next board meeting will be after or they'll be before the special town meeting?
I'm not sure when the special town meeting is, Ms. Garcia, do you?
It's on October 22nd, so
Okay.
that's up to the board to decide, or if we need to come up with a special meeting to discuss this particular instance, but we can make sure that there's an opportunity prior to that.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so if there's a special meeting prior, again, there won't be an opportunity for the citizens to discuss their point of view with regard to the citizens petition.
Ms. Garcia?
Yeah, so one aspect is definitely public comment. So we encourage written public comment, spoken public comment. What you're saying with presentations on particular matters, we're absolutely happy to accommodate those. To my knowledge, we hadn't been specifically asked for that time period. I think the request was for public comment. So definitely if you want to come in to present on this, please email our office specifically requesting that you'd like time to present on this matter, and we can put that as an agenda item to make sure that there's a little bit elongated period for that particular topic.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So by elongated, you mean more than the 3 minutes?
Yeah, so we could come up with a reasonable, like you said, I think 10 minutes in town meeting is generally what the presentation time is, so we're happy to kind of, I apologize, I'm new, so I want to make sure that I'm matching what that presentation time is, but we can make sure that it's sufficient to have that special presentation and go through all the points that you're looking for.
Thank you.
So we're definitely, can certainly accommodate those, to hear presentations on different health matters, and just making sure that when you're emailing for those, that it's specific that you're looking for a presentation, not just public comment, and we can make sure that it's accommodated appropriately.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Is Ms. Burris here?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, I had a harrowing experience on the way to the town hall. I sure did.
I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad you're here.
You know,
Good morning.
something good will come out of it because it's that intersection, if you live in town, on Crescent in Maine, and there's that big green thing. Every time I go to that, I'm like, you know what, I really need to write the town and tell them they need to do something about this. Someone's gonna get hit. Well, they're okay, they're totally fine.
Okay, good morning. When you're ready.
I started a huge traffic jam in the middle of town. Sorry to all of the people of Shrewsbury for the traffic jam I caused this morning. But they're gonna fix it now. The police officer, said he just had a similar experience, and now they'll fix it. So,
Excellent.
good
Great.
morning.
You have 3 minutes. Please go ahead.
My name is Julie Boris, and I want to talk about the Public Health Expansion Grant and why I think Shrewsbury should not accept the funding. And I've been at this for so long that 3 minutes really isn't long enough because I have a whole notebook full of stuff and I'd love to talk to you about it, and I do have a meeting with you, so I will. Regional collaboration sounds good and it makes sense to share some services. I totally get that and I have no problem with it. But the town intends, with zero public input, to apply for public health expansion grant money, and that money comes with strings attached. By signing on, we're not only agreeing to the shared services, but to comply with the SAFE 2.0 law, the 2019 Blueprint for Public Health, and a new special contract, which has conditions from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health. And this means surrendering a lot of our local control. So what it looks like in practice, what does this mean? Loss of independence. Decisions are driven by vague standards from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, like 21st century public health challenges, which can change at any time. There's nothing set. It's all just dictated from above. This is short-term money. The funding was only for 2 years. When that money is out, we've expanded our public health department, and now who's going to pay for it? Taxpayers of Shrewsbury, because we're not getting more money from the federal government, I don't think. So this is an unfunded mandate for towns. There's mandatory training and credentialing. I have investigated these courses myself. They align with pro-pharmaceutical, pro-mandate agenda, and they are not in line with the needs of our community. I've taken them. It's what's in them. You should all, I mean, well, if you have to get credentialed, I guess you will. It's one-size-fits-all medicine. Everybody does the same thing. And anybody that says anything otherwise is misinformation. It expands surveillance and tracking. The blueprint calls for statewide data collection with no privacy protection or personal choice. And remember, the SAFE law that defines this grant program gives the Commissioner of the Department of Public Health or Environmental Protection the power to organize the public health response. That's really broad. What does that mean? In any situation they deem important. That's really broad. So I'm sorry, I lost my place. So this is, again, extraordinarily broad. It's potentially authorizing the same kinds of top-down mandates we saw during COVID, or worse. This isn't just another grant. It's ceding Shrewsbury's authority to the state and to outside interests often funded by corporations like Moderna, AstraZeneca, and the large insurance companies and the big hospitals. They're the ones that funded this bill. Their goals are not local needs, they're profit. I think the safest path for the citizens of Shrewsbury is to stay independent. If we decline this grant, then we have more say in our own health policy. I urge you not to commit us to an arrangement that will cost us our autonomy and place long-term burdens on our taxpayers. The price is simply too high. It's $1 million. That's one house in Shrewsbury, so let's put it into perspective. These services we do not need, and they do not improve public health. So it's just more government expansion and intrusion into our lives, and it adds to the growing burden of Shrewsbury taxpayers. And after the abuses of power we all saw during COVID from the Massachusetts Department of Public Health, your bosses, the last thing we should be doing is expanding and giving more taxpayer money and control over our lives and property. So I urge us not to reconsider taking this grant and to put it to the people of Shrewsbury. It was never given to us to discuss or decide or know what the strings were and what we were agreeing to. That is my 3 minutes, but I do want to add a note, if I may. Monday I was at the Massachusetts State House, and I moderated an event called The Faces of Vaccine Injury. I will share the video with all of you, and I encourage you to watch all 2 hours and 15 minutes of this program. I'm going to be request that it gets aired on the Shrewsbury Media Connection. We heard from experts on the amount of damage done and the dangers of the COVID shot. We heard stories of people who were seriously injured by the shot. These are all people from Massachusetts. The stories of good, hardworking people whose lives were turned upside down due to government-imposed mandates for choosing not to take the liability-free, one-size-fits-all pharmaceutical product. There was one story from a young man from Westboro whose healthy 30-year-old wife died in front of his eyes while he was holding her hand from a pulmonary embolism at 6 weeks after she got the shot. And yet our Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and by extension this Board of Health, I assume, is recommending COVID shots for babies 6 to 23 months and pregnant women. Does this make sense? We have to start having this conversation. That is my piece. Thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Next agenda item is to review the meeting schedule. Our next meeting is scheduled for October 29th, Ms. Apple. October 29th at 8 a.m. Okay. All right. Board members, if there are any other agenda items?
Nope.
Nope, no other.
Hearing none, we'll move to adjourn the meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Ms. Walker?
I'll second that motion.
Great. All in favor, Ms. Rosachi?
Aye.
Ms. Walker?
Aye.
Abraham votes aye. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you want to look at this, I can always look.